I think we are live. Welcome everyone to another session on Amplify F#. My name is Edgar and I'm one of the members of Amplifying F#. And today we have a session about the working on the compiler and the F# compiler, trying to fix a bug that has been for ages, I think since version 1.0. So yeah, that should be fun. But before we go further, I would like to talk a little about this initiative. Amplifying F# is a hands-on collaboration open source initiative that wants to inspire developers to chime in and make F# better during the process. And we run sessions every Friday, depending on the sessions that have been submitted to our webpage. And like I did for this session. And you can see the sessions that we had in the past. They are quite some of them here. We have almost, I think, around 50 sessions. And yeah, so you can see all of them here. In our last session, we had a session about the solar panel calculation, which is here. You can see you can rewatch the stream and watch the session here. And so yeah, it was really interesting. And the session before this one was a contribution to Rider that was recently merged, which is really good. So we all can now enjoy the contribution from Jindrik to improve the custom operation intelligence. So yeah, you can see that this is the related UTruck issue on JetBrains, and now has been fixed. So yeah, thank you, Jindrik, for that, and we can continue. So if you want to do like Jindrik of myself, you can join us on our webpage, which is amplifyingf#.github.io, and on here you can click the join us button and you can create a submit session. It can be to any F# open source topic. So here, what we ask from you is your name, your company name, your time zone, and the topic that you want to talk about, discuss, or figure out. It can be on a specific issue. It can be that you want to work in a specific project that you are using and you want to help improving or fixing. And then you can also tell us a little bit, what was your idea, and we will try to figure out the best way to help you, and also put you maybe in contact with some members in the community that can, help you get there. So yeah, that is it from the introduction. But yeah, let me introduce today's session. So today's session is about F# compiler, and there is a bug that I will try to first understand and then find the solution and see if we can fix this. So the topic is about indexers. So there is a feature called indexer in F#, which has this form. It's a similar to a regular property, but this one has an index and has a value. And the issue that we have here is that by definition, the getter type of the property should be the same type as the value passed and the setter. So as you can see here, the getter has a string type, but then we are passing value as a float. And we don't warn or we don't show an error at the moment at this stage. F# still shows an error when you try to use the float here, trying to assign, for example, a float to a string. It will complain and say, hey, the compiler error, you need to provide the right type. But this issue is about, showing the error earlier before you even use the value, like we do for regular properties that I will show you in a little bit with a code sample. So the both code compiles, but it should not, or at least it should raise a warning. And so there was a quote in the issue that I can show you. that mentions that this was never particularly intended, and I think the language designer was aware that this was possible in one point in one of the 1 point versions, but there was, I think maybe was missed, or something happened there. But this is being considered as a bug, and he proposes that we need a warning and consider protecting this with a language version, so we basically don't break people's code. So yeah, that's basically the approach that we're going to take today. Yeah, let's see how that goes. So possible solutions. As I said, there is already a compiler error when you try to set the value on a normal property, and it says that the values doesn't match, but that hasn't been included this error. So we can reuse the existing error number, the existing error message, and just basically apply this one here. Another approach we can take is create a new warning for this specific case, and basically put that in the code. And yeah, so let's jump into the code and see. First of all, let's look for property indexes in F#, so we can see how this looks. So if you go to the documentation and look for index properties, you will see that this is the documentation for this. Basically says when defining a data that abstracts over ordered data, it can be sometimes be helpful to provide indexes to access to those data without exposing the underlying implementation. This is done with the item number. And one thing I learned recently is by using the explicit word name item here, the compiler treats this in a special form. So as you can see in the sample here, we have a type, a class, that has indexed properties that are accessing and modifying internally these arrays. So here you get an index, so you get the value from the array, and then here you try to set the value based on the index and the value. And then if you use the item as a name of the indexed property, it will allow you to use this notation to have basically an indexer syntax for an array, which is really interesting. I didn't really knew this until last week or something like that. So yeah, there's also another case where you can have multiple index, but it is effectively the same. So you have two indexes and one value. So I guess this is useful for two-dimensional arrays or something like that, where we can use that of any other use case. So with this in mind, I guess the first thing will be good to do is try to get this on a console app and see if we can actually see that this is actually not working at the moment. So so I got here let me just type something. Let me just hide this for now. And here we have a class that has two forms of properties. One is a normal property and one is an indexed property. So at the moment, what happened in this case, we are getting the string as a getter type, but we're also passing a string. But if I put here a float, it's going to complain, saying a property getter and setter must have the same type. Property, normal property, has a getter of type string, but setter of type float. Right, makes sense. Now, for the indexed property, that's not happening. We can put here anything we want, and the compiler doesn't really says that is the type doesn't match. So our goal for today will be to find where in the compiler this is checked, and add a new language feature flag, I guess, to be able to only show a warning on an error or an error to this case, and make sure that the existing code, or version 7, and I think I'm not sure what's the latest version on the main branch on the F# repo, but I think it's 8. So it might be that for version for F# 9, or for For that version, we will see a warning for this specific case, but not for all their language versions, YZK versions. So yeah, we have here as well another example for the same indexer property, but for with 2 keys and 1 value, and same here. Doesn't, I guess if I just put here a, float, not complaining, no, it's not complaining. So the same thing. So hopefully we can do that. And this might not seem a critical bug, but from my point of view, one of the things that I really want to help with F# is to reduce the number of oddities, so the number of small issues that you can find when you use the language. Feature-wise, I think F# has a good mix of features, and it's good enough for me at least. So that's basically why I'm trying to fix this issue. Right, so any questions so far, just in case? I don't think we have any in the chat, but feel free to put a question in the chat, and David or Jimmy will get that question to me. Right, so let's use this opportunity to also try to demystify some of the I guess ideas of that contributing to the compiler is rocket science, and you need to be a pretty I don't know, clever, or you need to have a lot of background, I don't know, degree background in order to be able to contribute. I think it's not rocket science. You can basically start with small things and try to identify some of the places where you can help. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not like unachievable. It's something that if you care about the language, or you care about the what you can give back to the language, this is the best way to do this. So let's go through what will be the first steps when you are trying to contribute to F#. So the first thing you do is basically, as usual, as developers, what we'll do is go to GitHub, and here you have the F# repo. You clone it, you get it to your account, and then you basically pull it to your local. And then you have a contributing explanations or documentation here, where it tells you exactly what you need to do if you are in Windows, you are in Mac, Linux, and also you have plenty of compiler documentation here, where you can see plenty of documentation about different topics that the compiler covers, like diagnostics, like coding standards. Also give you an overview that explaining a brief explanation of what are the different folders in the compiler containing. So we have abstract IL, syntax tree, type checking, optimize, codegen, all of this. And you don't need to know all of them to contribute. It's just that it's good to know at least what is stored in each folder, so at least you know where to look at. And this is going to come handy where we are going to look, for example, for this specific issue, where the code might be, or where we can start looking at. Right. There's also more documentation from the community, the language specification. If you have a question about, is this expected from the language? Is this in the official spec? So you can look at that here. The spec is quite old. I think it's from 4.1, but still a good resource for looking at what's expected in the language. Right, so once you do all of that, the next step what you do is basically use your editor of choice. In my case, I use JetBrains Writer, and for that, I'm using this one here. So once you got this one here, the first thing you can do is go to the repo and copy this line, which basically is that will build the compiler, the compiler with a no Visual Studio flag, which means that it's going to be built without pulling those dependencies with enough, let's say, with enough dependencies to run F# compiler.service, which is where most of the contributions are going to be, unless there are editor specifics or something else. I'm not really interested on the rest, only on the compiler services solution. So I already did that, but you can basically do that here, and I think I got somewhere here. Yeah, and then the next thing you can do is also, just in case, this is not mandatory, but in my case it sometimes works, that if you, by doing the build.cmd not Visual Studio, you cannot run the test with, because you have some type initialization or startup code exception. I normally just do a .NET build from the F# compiler services. I know that some told me that this is not really needed, but sometimes I guess it's happening to me, and it works at least. Right. So once we have that, the first step will be to kind of take a step back and analyze what will be useful. And for this, I'm going to try to get some feedback from the audience in terms of, we have an issue where we want to emit a new diagnostic, a new warning or error to a specific case, but we don't want to break people's code. So if they update from 8 to 9, they don't need to see a compiler error just by updating or bumping the language version or the SDK version. So would it make sense if we create a new error number, a new error message, and then use that in the code to identify that and make sure that that's not breaking all code? Is that sensible, do you think? Or we could, I mean, this is going to be the PR will be raised to the team, and the team will finally have the saying if this is what they want or not. By previous experience, I have seen that they really take backwards compatibility serious, and they don't want to basically risk that to make that risky. So yeah, any feedback from the chat on that? If not, I'm going to start looking at what I think will be interesting. So in the compiler, where there is a file called language features, which holds a discriminated union with the different, with all the features that we have that are available for the version of the language. So if we go here, we see that we have a lot of them, and if we want to be able to switch between features and put this behind a long preview version, we need to add an option here that will give us that thing in the code to be able to use it. So we always have not always, most of the time, we have a signature file and we have a source file. So as normal, as we should usually do, first update the FSI, the signature file, and then here we need to put a let's see, Copilot wants to that, but basically we want to put a useful name here. So I'm going to go with indexed get set, like this indexed get set as same type. Same type. Sometimes Copilot confuses me with this. Let me disable this for now. So this is, I guess we need to put a warning, because I think this will need to be a warning. indexed get set properties, I guess. Naming is hard, so if someone has a clear idea, I will be I will be open to suggesting. But yeah, this is what we're going to use. And then if we then copy this, go to the language features and
Edgar,
yep.
I was perhaps a bit not fast enough earlier, but is it really necessary to have that switch here? Is there any way that somebody could have used that feature, that the different types?
Yes. I guess the easy answer will be, someone, you cannot make sure that, you can always hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And what I'm trying to say by that is that someone, I'm sure, that has in their code a indexer property with the wrong type, but so far has been allowed. So, if they bump the language, they will find this compiler error, and the team is really focused on not breaking the code, even if by spec, in theory, it shouldn't be allowed. But by using the warning is a way of basically giving them the chance to ignore the message, because on the solution you can go no warn and then say, okay, I don't care about this. I want to keep having my code with the wrong value type, but I don't want to fix anything. So just basically let me ignore that. So the new warning is useful for that. You can ignore the language. Sorry, you can ignore the warning, so the warning number, and then everything will be, as you had it before. I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, I would understand it if somehow the language would change, right? But this to me really looks like a compiler bug and not a change in the
It is a compiler bug. It is a compiler bug, but this is more on the technically it's a compiler bug, but from the backwards compatibility, the team will. I'm sure the team will, request to put this behind a warning alarm preview version. I mean, we can. We can try and do it without the alarm preview version, but without the flag. But I'm sure that we will need to change the code. And also I wanted to do this because this will be also a good way to show everyone just how to add a this kind of scenario in case, if you are thinking to contribute to compiler, it will be useful to know if they request you to do this, at least you know how to do it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we have a message from Vlad. Thank you, Vlad, for joining. Happy to have you here. The code that was compiling before, it will not be with the fix, needs to go to under flag output that. Yeah, exactly. Right. So next step will be to add the version. Let's see, and this will make that error go away. But now we need to provide an implementation, because this is a union. So now let's see if we can add this. And on here, it's basically adding a new case at the bottom of this member, which is getting the feature string. This is to show the string when you hover over the warning. It's going to tell you that this is available on this version, blah blah blah. So for this, we need to add a string on the fscomp. So let's do that. So if I go to fscomp and look for an example, this is the perfect example, I guess. So what we can do is duplicate this, and I guess what I normally do is to copy for this, and then go here and say feature, blah, blah, this, and then do that. And on here, I'm going to enable compiler to see if he's able to give me a good suggestion, and so I don't have to type. But then we can all come up with a good name here. So I think we can go with something like indexed properties, properties. getter and setter must have the same type. And I mean, we can, change this in the future if there's a way to make it more clear, but for now, let's keep it like this. If you have any suggestion, put it in the chat and we can discuss that if you think there's a better or clear way to do this. Yeah, let's do it like that. Right, so now this is just a string, this is a plain string or plain text. How do we, convert this in a, a consumable, like it is here with fscomp and feature, blah, blah. So we need to look in the documentation and we are looking for we're looking for I think there is dev guide, and there is a place here where we have here it is. So there is a command where you can update the fscomp that will generate the resources and will make this available. So we copy this and then go back to the compiler. We can go here and this paste here, and hopefully this will work. I'm sure it will. Oh. Okay, what is saying? Right, curly braces must be escaped. So I have done something interesting here. Right. What? Will be quoted. I mean, it is quoted. Because I'm using type. Is that no? Wow, this is confusing.
Does it work if you remove it? Just to make sure you.
Let me, just let me do this and see if that for now that one. Maybe it's like that. I have done this multiple times. I don't know. No.
They give us a specific line we could look at. I don't know if that's the same. I don't know if it's reporting the line from the text file or not.
I think it should be .NET MS build, because builds will invoke additional targets, and MS build will just invoke update XLF. Try running .NET MS build /t update XLF.
Okay, so .NET MS build.
Yeah, and you can, I think you can just specify the compiler service project, not the solution.
All right, so MS build, and then I do the F#.
No. The SRC compiler and like what you had before, but after the compiler, just add the path to the fsproj inside of the directory. Yeah, here.
Okay, here. And then it should be fscomp.
I think it's F# compiler service. I don't remember what's the name of the solution.
Like that.
Yeah. So let's see if this one helps. Doesn't.
Indent string. What is the first time?
Oh, I see. Can you? Yeah. I don't think you can have space there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be it. That's run that.
I do not know the exact reason, like why it's so strict. Probably some historical stupid reasons.
Works now. Cool. So if I can see on the diffs now, I have in my git diff, I got 17 files updated, which basically means it's going to generate different strings for different languages, I guess, or something like that. So yeah, that's what we want. Okay, so if I now go back to here, and then we let hopefully Ryder will have generate that for now, or have refresh for now, so we can say fsconf dot sr, and then I can look for feature indexer in, yes, it's here, right? And then we have a here. Oh, come on. Right, so here we have provided to the this string that is expecting, and now, if I'm not wrong, there is another thing we need to do, which is to add this to the language for the preview version. So I am on master branch, sorry, on a I created branch from main. I think it was updated recently, so it should be okay. So here we need to do a let me, and then this will be a look for that, which is indexer properties for this, and then we are going to put this to the preview version, and it is failing because it's missing a comma. Perfect. Right, so we have all of these up to be able to have that that flag available for us. So now, I guess the next step will be to write a unit test, to try and put the unit test with that specific code and see if that's passing in the compiler. So for that, the place that you need to look at is to see. Let me close all of this. So you have the F# compiler component tests, and on here you have a lot of tests, and we need to find a place where we can put a unit test. Normally, what I do is, because I know that there is already a set of tests for the normal properties, I will do is go back here and look for this text. If you don't know where it is, the best way you can do is look for it. And then here we can see that this text is there's already a test for this on a place called conformance. So component test conformance basic grammar elements, and we have it here. And here there is one file, which is the method and properties fs, that is testing a bunch of scenarios with these hidden F# source files. They are, I guess from what I can see, they are basically loading that from the source directory. So what we can do is create a similar file, and then based on the feature, on the language version, make sure that compiles and not compiles. So let's do that. Let me get to the, I always forget if this needs to be added to the fsprosh, if I added a new one or not. But I think no, I don't think they need to be. So let me open my Explorer, and then on here, let me add there's a bunch of them. So let's create a new one here. Let me duplicate one of these. So it should be Command B, right? And then let's call this something like along the lines of index set properties, same type. Seems a good name for this, and let's make this an FS. Properties, same type, correct. So maybe I don't need to put the TS FS here, or what do I think I need? Oh no, because it's already, oh no, sorry. All right, this is already a source file, I guess. So if we look at for this, it should be here, yes. So what we need to do now is to get rid of all of this, and all of this, and all of this. I guess what we can maybe do is maybe look for the header. Then sometimes there is headers on this. I can put it there. I can put that one there. And now here we can basically go to our console app and use this value here, which is good for now. And then we can add more test cases for this. And then for now, let's just get rid of this because this is not interested to this. And we have this one here. So this should pass for both versions, for the version 8 and then for version preview, which I think is 9. Is it 9 blood the preview version on main now, or is it still 8? While we wait for see the answer, I'm going to continue with this.
Wait, can you repeat the
Yeah,
information?
so the language preview, the preview version on main is now version is F# 9 or is it still version 8?
No, it's still 8.
It's
We
still
have
8.
yeah,
Right.
we have 8 by we have 8 in the release branch, so which is not merged to the main yet. It's going to be merged next week, around next week.
Nice. So okay, so what we can do is go back to here and copy one of these, duplicate it, and then said, okay, I don't need this one here because this is not being generated. And what we can do is to copy the name of this, copy the name, check this, paste this one here. All right. Okay. And then here, and then I can put this one here, just following the same convention. All right, so we have here, and what we can do is this will be for the normal, for the current language version, and then I can do this for I guess I can say this preview for now, and then I can here set with lang version preview. So automatically, I think this will put whatever is the preview version, and this will run the latest version, the stable version. But you can also do with lang version, and I can go 7 to make sure that. And then we can run these tests. So let me check, blah, 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 the same name, indexed property, same type, blah, blah. So this should pass. So you have seen so far, it's all about plumbing. It's about, putting everything together so you can have the scaffolding for start, modifying the code and doing testing. Without doing this, yes, you can, go and browse the code and all of that stuff. But yeah, it's going to be really difficult to check if you are, if it's working on different versions. So at least by this, you can have a little bit more of a assurance. And some will argue this is even a little bit a TDD where you can, have your test failing or test passing and then work from there. But my machine is a little bit slow. So while we wait for this, and I can maybe go back to here and start to kind of, I'm going to take you through what the way I've thought about this bug and how I think we can find a place where this might be located. So when the compiler, and don't take this as a source of truth because I really don't know much about the whole phases and how the compiler works, but what I say is that when the compiler is checking for this scenario, it's checking a declaration. It's not checking an expression because it's checking this form of getter and setter. So that's my first thought when I saw this. It's like, okay, this is not checking, it's checking the declaration form for the getter and setter, and then it's checking that the types from one matches with the other. If not, raise an error. So we need to, I guess, start looking for how the compiler treats this property, how it is encoded or how it is represented in the compiler. And I think we can look at check declarations, and from there start to look at. So please bear with me, because this is how I basically do this, and it's so far it's I cheated a little bit because I was looking at this before, so it took me to where a place I wanted to show you. So this is where the check and declaration is basically checking for the property. So I mean, I think one thing we can do is to maybe show why I know is that, because if I go to there is I cannot type today what string, right? So there is a really useful tool developed by the Fantomas team. It's called Fantomas tool, and this is where Fantomas tools, right? And now here you can paste any F# code, and then it will show you what's the AST representation. And I guess if we look at the AST, we can see that at some point we are going to have a get set member, which is for this. And it's going to have a sim value, and then it's going to have a val info. Okay, and I'm just expecting something like called property, but maybe it's not. All right, let me have a look. So this is a head pattern. Let's set some volume for, and then it should be here. Right, it's not what I was expecting, but yeah, this is basically where we have the dates stored here. This index, we can have this and name, and here we will have also the rest of the information. And we have that this is a sim member definition, get setter, and we have the binding here. There's a useful trick that if you click on the ranges, it will highlight exactly what are you looking at. So in this case is the name, and then also here is checking the get, and then here the value, and so on and so forth. So okay, so let's go back to what we were before and see if the test has passed or not. So the test passed, and now let's run the version. So this passed. Now let's check the preview flag. This should also pass because we haven't done any change. So I am confident that this will also pass. Right. So now that we are here, so I think we should look at where the property has been created or has been, formed, and then look at where that is going to take us in terms of the next steps. Right, so also passes, so that's good sign. So if we go back to the check declarations, we can see that we are inside of a method called, let's see how this is called. I think I overlooked that. Sorry for the fast scroll. Where there's a place here that you can put the structure. Where's the structure here? So we are here. I don't know how to use this, but basically we're in a place where we know that we are creating the property, and that is being encoded as prob info.fsprop, where we pass some information that then that contains the get set, info. So I know because I saw a PR some time ago where there was added the get set that the one of the phases or one of the places where the inference of the members is checked is called place post inference checks. And I am sure that somewhere here might be a place where we are doing a get set. So I guess what we can maybe do is go here and look for the prop info. Let me check first property, because I think it might be interesting to read this one here. This represents the resolution of a name to a property and takes the name, takes the prop info list, where has the getter, setter, and the parameters information and all of that stuff. This is quite interesting, and also takes the source identifier range, with I guess is this range. It shows that you need to show a error on this specific range, because we need to check, but it would be good to match the same range and not just use the set range or the get range in this case. But let's see how that it's represented. Okay, so we go to check declarations. Now we go to the prop info.fsprop, and this has globals. We have the getter and setter. This is what I mentioned was added, I think a few months ago, but we don't have a source identifier. So we need to look at what kind of range we are getting there. Okay, so let's go back to post inference checks and start to look at, I think there's a function here, this check entity definition that might have something here. So we do the right. Let me check. Let's see if this fsprop info has some members here that we can look at. As an apparent type, property name, display core, has getter, has setter, new slot is static. There is something called here is indexer. So indicates if the property is an indexed property. In example, a property with arguments. So this might be interesting. Are we using this somewhere? Don't know. Let's look at this. No one is using this. I doubt no one is using this. There must be a place where we're using this. We have nice print, which, okay, this is for, I guess, lay down the text on the error text. And we have also a here. This is interesting. It is checking if a property info, which is property in general, because I think property info is used for normal property and also for indexed property, is checking if it has a setter and getter, and it is discarding the property indexer. And that looks suspicious to me. And I think this is where the type checking is, or is comparing the type equivalent outs, which whatever that means, check the equivalence of two types up to an eraser flag, right? So here it's taking the setter, taking the getter, and then checking the one and making that sure. So I mean, we cannot just remove this and you know, call it a day. We need to make sure that this is affecting our unit test. So let's for Francis to remove this and go to the unit test and check if I run if I go to my unit test and let me I mean, I don't want to run all of them because I'm taking ages. So let me run one by one. I think that might do it. And the 7.0, so the both should fail. Oh, well, let's see what they will do. But my expectation is that if by removing the check that is an indexer, it will have to go through the check and complain or basically fail and say that both type doesn't match. And let's also, while we are doing that, is want to check if someone is not calling this one here. Symbols helpers property is indexed, then item helps. Yeah, symbols helper, the service declaration lists. I think maybe this is for intelligence, maybe select the item method group. I don't really know what is this service classification is doing, but I cannot see any type checking or anything here. It's just doing something else. Nice print. Difference get and set. Pretty layout of prop info freestyle. Yeah, it's something different. Is index param get setter. Yeah, this is a helper function that for now we don't really are interested in this. Right, so I mean, this is my best bet for now. Let's see if this pays out. Yeah, but my machine is quite slow. I mean, this is a relatively, you know, powerful machine, but it's not enough to, you know, to run the test that quick. Come on, can do it. Data will change something, and it's saying that right. Yes, it's taking the same error number, and it is actually checking the indexer properties now. It is saying that a property get and set must have the same type. Property item has a getter of type string, but setter has a type of float. This is what we want. This is what we want. But by doing this, we are breaking basically the current version, and also I assume that this is also failing. So yeah. So there must be a places where in the test that this is also that is going to, you know, complain in the CI. I have to admit that I did create a draft PR the other day just to test some of these scenarios to see if that will fix it. And yeah, most of the places where it did fail, I think it is because it is good because it is applying the new check. So right, so I think we are in a good place. We know that this is a place where it is checking for the getter and setter properties, and before it was discarding, or it was avoiding the indexer. So let's now generate a new error a new error message, and then with a new error number, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So it is quite the same way as we generated a text for the feature, language feature. We need to do it for that. And normally what I do is to go to the end of the file, because the error numbers are in order. We normally, what I do is to basically generate a new one, bump one, and then just in case, look if this is already used on this file, and also do a global search to see if this is used somewhere. So it seems like, yes, it's not used exactly. Of exceptions range. This is a line, non error message. So yeah, we are good to go with this number. And then here I will go to the test, and see if we can basically look for the error number. Then we can base our test on this one here. So this is what the existing error message does, or it says. So it's called check, this one here. So I guess, you know, it needs to be similar, but it needs to be it needs to have a specific. We cannot just copy the same error message and put it there. We need to have a need to put a more something specific about indexes here. So yeah, so we need to do a checking, I guess, index set index set getter and setter has the same property. I mean, it's going to be really similar, but I guess, you know, it's index set properties, getter and setter has the same type. I don't know. This feels like a little bit repetitive, or the duplication of the existing one. What do you think? Should we just reuse the same without the same error message, just copy and paste the same error message, or to put something related to indexed property? Because by definition, you know, they are these restrictions should apply to both, to indexed or not. So I don't think, you know, it's kind of pointless to change that. But it's a new error number. So
Yeah,
Maybe
can you not just use the same error number? Just check if the switch is on.
you cannot duplicate error codes, because I don't think there is a check somewhere now. It checks for that you are using the same code, basically error code.
No, I mean not introducing a new one. Just use the old one.
Yes, but the problem is that if we use the old one and make it a warning, then if they ignore the warning based on the existing error number, like this one here, they
I get it. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
People might be confused and saying, I'm ignoring a warning, but the same, you know, error number, error code, error, it also belongs to a code to an error compiler. So it might be confusing to do that.
Yeah, then you just have to copy it.
Yeah, I'm more debating is, should we put an indexed property just to kind of make it more you know, a different error message? Because otherwise I think you know, the same, I would argue that it is the same, but it's just different number. So this will be good enough for me. But you know, I just want to. What do you think, David?
I would go with a slightly different text, just to make complaining users easier to help.
Yeah. So what do you think? Unindexed.
Yeah, an index property like you had.
Indexed property getter and setter must have the same type, and then because we are going to use the same, you know, type, you know, the same, we're going to use the same string placeholder. So we have the property name of the property, then we have the getter type and the setter type. So I guess that should be good. Right. I mean, this can also change, and I know the HS team is really mindful and helpful with this, so they will go through this and or suggest if there's a better wording or a different name. So I'm always relying on the reviewers to tell me if what I have right, it makes sense for them, because I'm not a native speaker, so sometimes there's a better way of saying these things. Right, so let's look for this. So if I didn't miss anything, they should be done. So now we have generated the generated class for that. So if I check my div, I should have now a lot more strings. Right. So okay, let me copy this, put it in the clipboard because this is going to be important. And then we should go back here. Now, here's where we want to make sure that we do this. So this is going to be used for both, for normal properties and for the indexed properties. So I guess this is where we need to do some checking here. So I'm going to see if
Would you not do it even below the next line?
You mean inside of the if?
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, type check. Right. I think it might work if I do something along the lines of if let me remember how this is done. It's g dot lang version dot support feature, and then yes, lang feature version dot, and then
do you not first have to ask if p info is indexed or what?
Yeah. I let me finish this, and then I will. I think I know where you are referring. It's just that I want to make sure that I remember how to type the this check. So here, and then we can basically set then just to put the warning here. So warning, and this is going to be an error, just to see. And then it should be a fscomp. Just want to see if I got access to the what we just created. It's going to be check. Come away, I will start this check. I think it's check. I think I copied on the clipboard. So if I do that, I should do it, and then I should be able to. Basically, it's this. And then we can, tidy up the if condition. Okay, do I got an extra? All right, so is that it? Right. So, and then we can basically do that. So if I put an else here. Right, let's think this through in order to do that. So do we want to check first for the language feature and then check for and the info is an indexer, and then do the else? But yeah, I don't think this will work because both of them needs to be true in order to do this. So I think we should
make sense.
And then we can, or we should check this in a different ifs, because we can basically I haven't really get to this part. So right, so if it's not
Looks good to me.
Yeah, to me too.
indexer warning, right? Yes. Yes, I agree. Cool. Nice. So, right. So let's moment of truth. Let's do the run the unit tests. So the version 7 should succeed because we're checking that it's not indexed, so I should go there. Let me also try to get one that is running a with more error cases. So we have this. So what will happen if I, for example, put this to value? Is it still complaining? So yeah, we also need to have another test just with no type checking here, because this is saying that it's expected to have a type string, but has a type object, which is not the same. So yeah, we need to also add a one of these with no thing here. And it should also fail. Cool. Right. Now also different keys. Right. This is the one I was interested on. This is I copied this from a test in the compiler, and this is quite interesting because here when we are using the getter and setter with an indexer, the return type of the getter is a generic default of a generic that is indexer output, and we are passing a generic generic of indexer input. So this is a tricky one because this is they should complain. They should complain because with our fix, what should be happening is output is last input should be this. Yeah, they should have, because then you are basically returning the same type on the getter and also passing the value on the same type on the value here. So yeah, this is a tricky one, but nevertheless, this is now correct from my understanding. So if someone in the chat has a different opinion or something to say about this code, let me know, because this is it took me some time to try to figure out why this was like that. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so it did fail. So let's do what we normally do, is put a breakpoint, right, and see how that goes. Right, this one. All right, so is this an indexer? True. Is this supporting the feature? I guess it is. Wait. So the feature is not available. I am missing something here. What? Indexer, as did I do the maybe I missed something on the language feature. language features, and then I should be able to set indexer property. So let's see, where is this going? So are we storing that one there? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that. Right. Version 7 indexed property with the same type. I'm expecting this to pass in version 7. But let me run again and check exactly what the post-inference check is doing here. Yeah, I think we need two ifs, no, only one. We need to check both. So this needs to be two ifs. One to check that it's indexer, and then the other one to not check that it's indexer. So we can still keep the same behavior. So language version is 7.7. So yeah, and this is, if I go to here and look for this on here and say feature ID is this, specify that true. So now, right, it's indexer. So in this case, it's indexer true, so it should pass, but if the other one is not there, yeah, and that's why it's failed. So I think it should be something like that. If p info is sorry, yeah, it's indexer and not indexer. Not indexer, then it should pass that. So we check for the first one to raise the warning based on this, and then we also check for this. And in this case, because it's not indexer, and then it should do that. Wait, I am confused now. So because previously what we had is not an info member, it's an indexer. So basically it's check for get and set, and then if it's not indexer, do this, and then do that. So we're doing the same, we're checking the first type, the second type, and then we're saying, okay, that's fine. Okay, if it's not perfect, so we're still in the same. And then we're saying, okay, if it's indexer and this is true, then do that. So I think they should pass. No, if not, I'm looking so dumb here. This moment of silence are the worst, because I don't know what I have most to say. But yeah, you need to start with the loading bar, with the loading spinner. Oh, got a message. Hey, Ronald. Yeah, in a chaotic city, there's always good to have moments of silence. Yeah, I have been so long in Spain where everything is quiet. In at least where I live in my farm, where I only hear the bird sounds or the chickens or the dog chasing the chickens. So.
So you will have the opposite when you will be in Berlin.
Yeah.
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 Great.
And but yeah, it's always good to mix. When I get too stressed on London, I go to my farm, and then when I got too relaxed from the farm, I go to London. So there's a perfect, perfect mix. Right? Come on, you can do it. You need to be green. Such interesting with such a simple checks that you think you have clear in your head, then it becomes a then in live stream would say, oh my god, I'm treating well, what's happening now? Moment of truth. I mean, it should be great. Don't even joke with me. I definitely need a beefy machine because it's getting, yay, we got green. But yeah, I think the reason is because we need to check for both. We need to first check for the language preview, and then we check for the indexer, and then for the is not indexer, we still need to keep that. Otherwise, we will be basically doing that. And then if I go to the indexer saying on preview, then they should fail. So we should do should fail, and then it should be with normally what I do to do this with thinking is diagnostics, yes, and then do that. What I normally do is run this and then copy what the output tell me on the console, and then paste it there as a result. Don't want to type, so I should have. Yeah, they should be fast now, I guess, because it already built the whole thing, so, and we have not modified the code. Yes. Once you modify the code, and then it needs to compile it when the problem is. But if you just run the test, it should be like good enough. Running. Give it to me, thank you. And yes. So, all right. So it should be a. I wasn't expecting this kind of output. I was expecting something that I just can copy and paste. But yeah, I mean, let's do that. So we have the warning, which is what we was expecting, and then we have I think it's a start line. Is it line? Yes, it should be line 5, then column column. Come on, let me copy this from someone else. I'm not going to spend my time.
Start column.
Yeah. It's warning, and then don't need this, and I should then look for the tests.
Oh,
Got it, David. I got it. All right, and we can basically modify that. So this is how we do it. But using a makes more sense to do use a different thing called single diagnostic for this. Oh, and we paste this one here, and then we just basically need to do this, and then say, okay, start line is 5. Oh, I don't like the range that it has given me, because it isn't. I think it's not a range that is the same range as the.
I think we are looking at a different record here, and you need to use like start line, start column, and stuff.
No, it should
no?
be okay.
Okay.
Let's try that one. I mean, I'm having used, so it should be like that. So let's check. So we have the warning error, which is this one, right? And then we have line 5, column 13, line 5, column 16, and then it should be that. So now they should pass, but they should fail, but they should, yeah, you know what I mean. I'm here. I'm just someone just there was someone in the door. So right. Okay. So what happened? It's, okay. Right. What happened here? The says that the compilation should be successful in order to run. All right. I think we need to type check, I guess, because yeah, this will warnings is not going to do that. It's going to complain. That's why it's not basically failing, because then you need to type check. I mean, that's my assumption. I see this in a lot of codes, and I do that every time that, testing it. There's also a nice way, for example, if you are testing a piece of code, you can also, and you don't care about the warnings, there's an option that you can say ignore warnings, as like this pipe ignore warnings, and that will ignore all the warnings and actually run the code. Right, this is what I was expecting. Right, so expecting actual this. So this is what I do. This is what I am best doing, which is copying and pasting. So go here, then paste this one here, and this will pass. Right now, the range 514, 517. Let's see where that is. So 514, which is 514, 517, which is giving us this this range, which is not the one we want. We want this range. Okay. Is that good enough? No, I don't think. We need to show the same range, the M item range, like we do for this. Now, as far as I can see on the sorry for the fast scroll, for the changing the screens too fast. As far as I can see, the this one here, the FS prop, here doesn't have a range, a specific range like the prop has. So yeah, we need to find a way to do that. And yeah, we basically need to do this. We need to get this value from where it at the moment of the creation. Like, I mean, I guess if I go to check declarations and look for the property, yes, we are passing this range. This range is what we want. This is what we want. So in theory, what we need is to do a similar approach, copy that, pass that range also to the prop here. So it should be something like this. And then get that in this, get that in the post inference check here. And instead of using M here, which is the existing range for the getter and setter, it should be done that. Now, that will require, from what I can see, some not that heavy changes, but some changes nevertheless, because this prop info is using multiple places in a lot of places. So let's see how long is going to be the session so far, and then we can go from there. What time is it?
But why did it work then for the non-indexed property?
Because they are passing the so there are two different things here. So property, item property, it is using a source identifier check. So let me show you this. So if I go here and put a breakpoint here, you will see what I'm talking about. So if I go to, which one it is this one. Put the breakpoint here. What I expect is that when they go to this place, this ID range will be passed to the property, normal property, but it's not accessible on the FS prop, which is the one that is used by the indexer. So it's not being propagated down, so it cannot be used. So by the time we are in this stage, M is not item, is the whatever the range has been, cascaded down. So that's basically I think is the reason, but we will find out really quick, because once we hit this point here, we can check the ID range here, and then I can basically put a breakpoint here to check as well what is M. So we will see exactly, because this M is coming from where? You see here, they are getting the property name, and then we're getting the arbitrary, and then getting the M. So yeah, let's check that. It might be a better way. I don't know if Vlad is with us. Maybe he can advise us on that. But yeah, that's the only way I can see, to at least from comparison from a normal property to a basic indexed property. We are missing the range here. So that's why it's working only for the normal property, because we're using this and not for the indexed property. If that makes sense, Martin.
Yeah, I have to take some time to understand that.
Yeah, it took me, it's taking me sometimes to try to basically see this, but let's see the ranges here. Okay, don't care about this. All right. So the M here is 10, 13, 10, 18, which I don't think is the one that I want. So ten, 13, 10, 18. So if I go to here, what 10? There's no 10 here. Right. Yes, isn't either both of that. What I did? Wait, did I do a? Okay, I think I need to do something different. So let me do so at least we can check that anonymous record. This is just a place where I normally go back just to basically run some tests. So this is nothing related to what we are doing. I just basically put a temp here, and then be able to come back here, take this, right, take this. I have been working lately a lot on the anonymous record. That's why for some reason my brain always comes back to this here. So if I debug this, because this is a normal property, we will end up in check declaration here, and we can check that that we are landing here because of that ID range. Because by the looks of it, when we are basically using an indexed property, we don't even get to this place. So it means that the property, the indexed property is being created from somewhere else, and that's where the range is what we need to find out. You see, so property is getting the name property, and name property has a range, which is 316, 316, 330. So if I go here is 2, because this is basically the first line is line 2, line 3 is 313, which is this, and 330, which is this. So the normal property, it is getting access to the right property because we are passing that as part of this. This is the key. For vacancy, this is the key. We are passing that down. So by the time that we go to the check here, M is something different. And that should succeed. So if I go here, and that should succeed. So what is this? Anonymous record. What is types? Anonymous record. Operation should succeed but fail. So that's basically why it's. So yeah, I think I'm not sure if, I mean, we can do this, but it will take me, I mean, let's just do some quick dirty. So if I go to check declarations now, go to property info, get this line. Now go back to check declaration, go to property info, FSI, check this here, and then do the same for the infos here. Right, so I should go back here and basically checking for this here, paste it on here. And let's see how many places this breaks. So if I try to run the unit test just to see, just to, you know, get an idea of how many changes are affected, and then if there are not too many, we can do it and try to figure that together. If not, I think I am going to call it for the day because it's going to be, it's being more than half an hour. And I think we have achieved what we want, which is, you know, raise a warning on that specific case. We are just now need to find the right range to show that, because at the moment it's taking this range, the get range, which is not what we want.
Although, to be honest, I would be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done really much, you know, I did prepare a little bit, you know, what would be I did prepare what was the issue and what's the potential solution, but the range it's always, you know, one thing that so far in F# I see a lot of ranges there, and you know, either the whole range of a line of code that it's only, you know, it should only point to a specific place rather than have a general range. So that's why I really want to spend some time thinking on the correct range, because that's really important for all the newcomers and for everybody. So yeah, there are basically, we're affected on info, we are affected in accessibility logic, we have an attribute checking, we have name resolution affected, and we have symbols affected. So yeah. And you see that this here's where the fsprop is created. So we might need to, you know, at this stage pass a source range so we can use that range. So yeah, I need to properly think on that. But yeah, I think you know, we can call it so far I mean, let's finish in a really high note, which is let's create a draft PR for this. So you know, we can have something that is going to check the compiler, because you know, it is the CI is the final judge for all the contributions. So if the CI is, you know, it's saying green, so everything is good. If not, you know, there might be a places where what we did is going to break some tests, so we need to fix it. I mean, I am sure of that. So right, okay, so we have, let me check this file, let me check this on the strings generated, the error fscomp, we have the index properties methods, and we have the record, anonymous record. Yeah, I don't think I need, that's not it. Yeah. So, right. So let me write a commit message. And what I'm going to do is normally go to the, here, go to this one, and then, yeah. Right. That's a property type warning. Perfect. So, oh, something really important that we need to do, which is format our code. So that's so .NET Fantomas. So thing is
-L.
-R is still in, because I don't know what version uses.
It's the old version 5 still. It's not recursive by default.
Right. So let's do that, and it's going to.
You need the dot.
Yeah. Oh. So it's going to go through all the files that are not ignored. I mean, in theory, I should go one by one, but let's do it all other ones, and it should go. It should be enough. There are plenty of files. So might take some time, but yeah, we're almost there. You can do it. Come on. I'm open for suggestions for machines that I can look at for the that supports the compiler code base. Yeah, so far I'm really looking for something that I can. It's not it's cheap enough that can get me at least to have a more faster developer speed.
We just got to improve the compile times in the compiler itself, so we can compile the compiler.
Yeah, I mean, what's the solution for normal for the current software industry? More RAMs. It's not a compiler for it. You need more RAMs. You need more cores. Is it down? I think my machine is really struggling now. Okay, so where's my? Are you still there?
Yep, we're still here.
Yeah, I think my. Okay, yeah, I can see now. I was looking for my Zoom thing, and it wasn't working there. Okay, I think something happened that is not related to what is going on, so I'm going to push my branch and get that, and then I will push a formatting if it's needed after. All right, so it's doing something. I think it's my machine. My machine just I need a better machine, because this runs without if I'm not streaming or I'm not sharing my screen, all that stuff, it's actually fast. And also there are thousands of files, so that's where it's going to be is doing all of that stuff. All right, so okay, so is there any change somewhere? No, everything good. So now let's go to the browser and create a PR. So if I go to GitHub, right, okay, and then go to F#. Then you have something new. You want to do it. Indexed property is allowed. It should not be allowed. should not be allowed to have an image warning. Yes, like that. These PR, that's basically fixes. And then look for the, I will miss this one. Copy this one. This, and then this is part, this was done. This was done as part of amplifying F sharp session, amplifying F sharp session. And then I'm going to put a link to that. It's our session, it's going to do it this. So let's make sure I'm not writing this in wrong. Amplifying F sharp session, right? So it's like that. And right. Grammarly is my savior. Right, and then make this a track PR for now to see what's going on. But the good thing about this is that this is going to go through all the hundreds, thousands of tests in the compiler, and will know, and will tell us if we have have break anything or have broken anything there. So yes, I think that is from me for this session. We managed to, I think we managed to have a potential fix for that error, that bug that has been there for since F#1. We just need to tidy up the range. So yeah, with this, I think that's what I have for you today. Any questions from the chat? No. Cool. So before I go, let me remind you again how you can create a where we are in amplifying fsharp.github.io. We have here a place where you can see our session. So if you couldn't attend to a live session, or you can rewatch it in YouTube in our channel. And yeah, we're looking for more sessions. We have September and October almost complete. So if you want a session, we have some available spots for November. So yeah, free to add more sessions, to raise any sessions, and you can do that by basically pressing join us, fill this form, and then we will get in contact with you to schedule your session and to find a way to work together to improve and to help F#. So with this in mind, I'm going to stop